You are the owner on paper, but when it comes down to being the actual owner in real life, you're not that. What you are is you are the director, and you hardly spend time in that owner role. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley Benz of ashleybenz.com. I'm the founder and creator of Childcare Business Executive Tools. I help the overworked childcare business owner remove yourself from the day-to-day operations so that you can reduce your working hours, get yourself from that director role into that CEO role, and without reducing the quality of your center or program. So today what we're going to be talking about is how to transition yourself from that director role to a CEO role of your center. Now, if you are interested in that, I want you to stay tuned. But before we hop in, I do want to say welcome to all my new subscribers, or welcome if you're just hopping on here. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to this channel, y'all. We are almost at 10,000 people, and I cannot fathom being in a room of 10,000 people. My anxiety would be up throughout the roof. But what I will say is that I am so happy that you are here. And if you have not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. If you're interested in learning how to remove yourself from the day-to-day operations of your child care center or preschool program or whatever that you have, okay? Before we get started, go ahead and grab you something to sip on, and let's jump into today's video. Okay, so the first thing I want to really kind of go over with you is the fact that there is a difference between director role and a CEO role. And a lot of you all are owners and founders or whatever that you title yourself on paper. You are the owner on paper, but when it comes down to being the actual owner in real life, you're not that. What you are is you are the director, and you hardly spend time in that owner role. So just some examples of the difference between a director and a CEO of a childcare business is simply just the tasks that they do. And so some examples of some CEO tasks is reviewing data. So, asking for your assistant to grab some reports for you or get some reports for you, reviewing data, and then making some decisions for your center based off the data that you're reviewing. Some other task examples of CEO tasks is setting up systems and getting things kind of in order so that you can hand off things to someone else or delegate things off to someone else. And so spending a lot of time setting up systems and processes. Another example is meeting with your accountant. And so instead of you doing all of the bookkeeping yourself, but all you do is maybe meet with the accountant and and understand your P&L statement, and those are just kind of the things. Another really quick example of a CEO task is finding some innovative ways to market your child care business or program. That might look like getting into a local segment for a local news segment and doing something like that, or getting some commercials. It is everything. It's most of the things that you're probably not doing right now. And so again, a lot of owners are owners on paper, but in reality, they are not that, because the tasks that they do are not CEO tasks, but they are director tasks, okay? So I really wanted to kind of break that down some before we kind of, continue on. Okay, so let's hop into some of the challenges that I hear of why you cannot transition yourself from that director role to the CEO role, why you are having an issue removing yourself from the day-to-day operations. And so one of the things, and I remember it myself, so just for anybody that's new here, I actually owned, operated, ran, and directed a childcare business for 10 years. So the stuff I am speaking out to you is not things that I am just, making up, or I've got some indirect knowledge of how to run a childcare business, but actually have direct knowledge because I did it for 10 years. But some of those symptoms or challenges, I would like to call them, is that you can't afford to hire in the help that you need. You can afford to maybe get in the teachers and the staffing that you need, as far as people to be able to run the classrooms. But you cannot afford to hire in like a full-time director or an assistant director. Like, that is not feasible for you right now. And one of the reasons why it's not feasible is because you are dealing with low enrollment. And so it's just kind of like one of those little teeter-totter things. It's like, I remember being in that same position, and we would look at the numbers and we'd be like, well, yes, we do need to increase our enrollment, but then at the same time, if we get in 2 more children, that means we got to hire in somebody only for these 2 more children. And it just did not seem like it was, made any business sense to even increase enrollment. But in the long run, the more that you can increase your enrollment and the quicker that you can kind of get or meet that threshold, then the easier it is for you to actually remove yourself from the day-to-day operations, okay? And so I completely understand where you are at. I know that, you'll hear a lot of other information out there that will say, oh, well, we just need to build a team and that's kind of all that we need to do. And yes, that's what we need to do. But I think that sometimes, it is forgotten that before you can actually start building that team, you have to kind of meet that threshold of basically where it's pretty much your profit line. And it's almost like, when you're in that transition space, you are only able to make ends meet, but it's like to just kind of get over that profit line is very difficult to do. Okay, so what is the solution to this? How do you transition yourself? How do you come up with a transition plan? What does a transition plan look like? And so let's just kind of hop into that right now. So the very first thing is that, and the main focus that you need to have, and this is where I want your focus to be, is removing yourself from the day-to-day operations and removing yourself from those director tasks, okay? If you can truly start focusing on that, and what I mean by that is in bite-sized pieces. I'm not saying that, because you may not be ready. You may not be at that place where you can completely remove yourself from the day-to-day operations and literally not have to come in if you don't want to. But if we can just start getting into those bite-sized pieces and just start kind of moving towards that direction, then that's what I want you to do. And that's what I'm hoping that I help you with in this video. So the very first thing that would help you do that is to start tracking your time, okay? And you need to start really tracking. I'm talking about from the time that you hit the door at your center or preschool program until the time that you leave. You need to track everything that you're doing. Now, when I am working with owners and members inside of my Director to CEO Accelerator program, and I'm telling them you got to start tracking your time, they kind of look at me like, Ashley, now, I don't even have time to even track, right? I am so busy. I don't even have time to track. But the way that I always like to advise you is that you need to be learning how to operate your program and center based off of data. And so one of the things that a CEO does is that they make decisions based off of data. And if you can start tracking your time, then you're going to be able to see in black and white what actually is what you're doing as a director versus what you're doing as a CEO, or if you are even doing any CEO task, okay? So a tool that I always love is Toggle. I use Toggle. I'll put that in the description box. I'll put a link. It is absolutely free. You can actually grab it, and they have an app. You can use it on your phone, but you will need to be doing that every day, and I suggest you do that for at least for a full week, okay? So then what you want to do is once you get that report, okay, and Toggle is great. You can actually just literally click report, and it's going to put the dates in. It's going to tell you what you've been doing. But once you get that report, then you're going to want to look, and you need to review your director tasks, okay? That is a task. That's the busy task. That's the task. That's the day-to-day operations. Those are the tasks that director tasks basically help you maintain your center program, where CEO tasks help you grow revenue. Okay, so let me say that again. Director tasks simply help you maintain your program, your center, your preschool program, where CEO tasks actually is what increases or helps you increase revenue growth. Okay, so you're going to look at that report, and you're going to be able to see in plain black and white what you're doing. So whatever you are doing, and that is the director that's just maintaining, you need to start delegating some of that stuff off. Now, again, because you are in a transition period, it's not to say that you're going to be able to delegate everything off right now, but you need to start somewhere, okay? Start somewhere and start delegating these things off and get them off your plate. And just as another example, so just things pop in my head, but some of those things are like, creating graphics for your Valentine's, flyer that's going to be hanging up around the center so the parents, know when the Valentine's party is going to be, or going grocery shopping. Just these are things that maintain your center or program, but they do not increase that revenue growth. Okay. All right. So another thing that you can do is automate what I like to call your high level admin task. Now, high level admin tasks are there's those tasks that are basically, it's almost like either the director or assistant director or someone in charge is the one that kind of has to do those things. And so I kind of think about the first thing that pops in my mind is facility tours. Okay. Showing potential families around your school or program. Okay. And so these are things that are very sensitive. Like, you don't just want to delegate that off to anybody. But these are things that you need to automate. And so what I always work with members on is to automate your website. You need to start using and leveraging your website and turn it into a self-service machine. Okay. Y'all, let me tell y'all, when you turn your website into a self-service machine, the sky is the limit. And so with everything that we have going on right now, okay, an example of that is to start doing virtual facility tours. I think I even remember in our Facebook group community that a lot of people are doing that now. A lot of owners are doing that and kind of starting to turn to that. This is the time to do that right now, okay? And so, this is a self-service website would look like a family can literally come in. They can tour your program right there. There's a beautiful video that walks them through every classroom, just like they would if they were there. They can meet the teachers. I mean, this is all it's self-service. It is on demand, okay? And you have that setting there. And then if they want to enroll, there's a button that says enroll, and they can literally enroll. You have your enrollment forms on there. They can pay on there. They can do everything that they want. And they can even contact you via text or something like that to reach out to you personally if they have any questions while they're going through that process, okay? This is like automation. You guys have heard me say this before, okay? I'm not changing on my automation. So I have some new content, but there are some things that's not going to be changing around here. But yes, that would be a really good example for you. And I'm going to tell you, start working on that, okay? And see, this is what I'm saying, okay? This is what I'm saying. This is why you need to get yourself removed from the day-to-day so you can be working on stuff like this, because this is CEO things, okay? These are things that's going to get you set up for the future to not have to be there if you don't want to be there. But if you cannot get yourself removed from the day-to-day, then it just can't happen, because you can't be in two places at one time. You can't be in your office working on this kind of stuff that I'm talking to you about and in the classroom doing circle time, right? Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is hiring. And I talked about this in a few minutes in the beginning of the video, but if you are not quite ready to hire, because you and I both know that one of the quickest and easiest way to remove yourself from the day-to-day operations is to just hire in that main person that's going to be there and it's going to kind of replace you. But you may not quite be in a position to do that. So here is what you can do, and here's something that I did at my center, is to look around at your staffing, okay? And I know, that's a whole nother topic. You may not have the perfect team right now, but there has to be somebody there that you can kind of promote in a way to a lead, and we used to call them on the floor manager, okay? Now, this on the floor manager has different responsibilities, and basically their job is to make sure that when these families come into the door, that they are being well taken care of, okay? They are the go-to, they are the face of the center or the program during the time that they have been assigned to be on the floor. And so one of the things that we did was that whoever was on the floor, we would have their picture up right there in the parents' corner, and it would literally say, Miss So-and-so is here to help you if you need anything right now, okay, or whatever. So that is what we had, and it worked really, really well. And it's a really easy, really great tool because you already have somebody there at your center program that's probably already doing that anyway. Or maybe they have the qualities or the characteristics to be able to kind of take over for a couple of hours. And so just kind of scan what you've got, okay? And just find that person that says, you know what? I can put her in charge for 2 to 3 hours every day. And then that's going to allow me to relieve myself and start working on, completely getting myself removed. And if it's not every day, maybe it's twice a week, okay? Whatever that you can come up with, okay? But the very first thing that you do have to learn to do when you're trying to be moved from that director role to that CEO role is to really be resourceful and learn how to use what you have around you, okay? So this really leads me into my last tip that I want to leave with you today in this video is that you need to mentally remove yourself from this director role that you are so attached to. And one of the things that we feel, okay, as childcare business owners, and everything is all on us, but we do feel, and I know I felt the same way, that I have to sacrifice my whole being for my program to run. I have to be there all the time. I've got to be accessible all the time like that, and that is just not the case. And so a lot of that is that you just really have to mentally remove yourself, and you really have to start mentally saying, okay, I am not a director, but I am a CEO. Even though you might still be that director right now, you still may be in that day-to-day operations, but you have to really mentally tell yourself that you're not that. Actually, what will happen is that you'll start recognizing when you are doing those director tasks instead of the CEO tasks, and then you'll be able to kind of stop yourself and be able to say, you know what? Let me write that down so I can go maybe find some ways I can remove myself from doing this X, Y, and Z task, okay? And so the mental thing, I feel like, is really what stops a lot of you all from getting, transitioning yourself and all those good things. Because if you cannot mentally be there, it literally, this is how this works, okay? And you guys that know me know that I am a God girl. So scripture every now and then will pop up in my brain, and it just kind of fits. But one of the scriptures that we all know and that I love is the fact that, as he thinks in his heart, so is he. So what that is telling me right now to tell you is that you have to think it first. It's almost like you are mentally there, but physically you're not. So mentally you are a CEO, you see yourself there, you are there, but physically you're just having to get your physical caught up to that mental. And if you can get that and do that, you'll get there. You'll get there. Okay, so I really hope that this kind of helped you and just getting some little tips, just starting to kind of do some bite-sized little tasks that you can do to really start helping you transition yourself from the director role to the CEO role and getting you removed from those day-to-day operations. And if you're interested, this is what I help owners do inside of my Director to CEO Accelerator program. If you're interested in learning more about that, be sure to check out the link in the description box. You can actually take a free masterclass where I share with you the very thing, the tool that I used to basically remove myself for 8 consecutive weeks when I was on maternity leave, when I had Nova, which is now 5. She'll actually be 6 in a couple of weeks. Can't believe that. But it's a system that I use, and if you go watch that training, it's a free masterclass. It will kind of walk you through everything, and also you'll be able to learn more about the program. All right, thank you so much for being here today. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, If you have anything that you want to leave those in the comments, you guys. I really want this to be a dialogue instead of a monologue, instead of me just sitting here talking to you. But y'all know I love to talk. So all you gotta do is just leave it some comments down below, questions, anything that's on your mind, leave those down below. And I look forward and seeing you in the next video. Be sure, as always, to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, hit the little bell so that you're notified of when I post up videos. Right now, that's gonna be weekly, so I'm super excited about that. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. And we do all this without reducing the quality of your, why is that not coming out right? I help the overworked childcare business owner remove themselves from the day-to-day operations. This is not working. I help the overworked childcare business owner reduce your working hours, remove yourself from the day-to-day. Oh, why is this not working? 3, 2, 1. 3, 2,